I wrote him, maybe when he finish, maybe he will come.
Dirk?
Ja. So, einen wunderschönen guten Tag, guten Abend, wann immer ihr die Sendung guckt oder ob ihr gerade live am heutigen Abend dabei seid. Heute haben wir als Gast oder als Gäste zwei Mitglieder der Girchi Partei aus Georgien, nämlich, ich fange mit den Damen an, Oniani und Alexander Rakviashvili. Und sorry to tell you folks, we will continue in English now. But before we start, I would like to state something a little on my own behalf. And I have been noticing something for some days now, that posts from Brazil, from Japan, from Spain, and many other countries have been appearing in my X timeline, and all in fluent German. The AI is simply translating the voices of the world for me. At first, I was irritated, almost suspicious. But exactly at the moment when the war in the Middle East once again threatens to escalate, the miracle of this function on X hits me with full force. Really a goosebumps moment that nearly brings tears to my eyes. Because for years, the media, the politicians have been feeding us the same mantra. Russia is evil. The Iran wants to destroy Israel. And they only served us the voices we were supposed to hear and allowed to hear. And yet now something immense is happening. Ordinary people are finding their voice. A real, unfiltered, deeply personal voice. Because, translated, we can communicate directly in German. Me, without knowing any Japanese, I can communicate with them. And suddenly we learn that the Russian mothers love their children with the same tender fear as we do. We learn that Iranians despise their regime, yet are not willing to be wiped out by foreign nuclear weapons in exchange. We always knew abstractly that behind governments and headlines there are human beings with the same fears, hopes, and longings as you and I. Now, however, we can actually hear them. They are tweeting through the ether a mighty dawn chorus, a morning choir of millions of throats, heralding the sunrise of a new world, a world in which the individual finally becomes visible, no longer just as a mass, but as a living, feeling being. If the Nobel Peace Prize were not so stained with blood from all the wrong recipients in the past, one would have to award it to Elon Musk. For in a world that was moving closer to the Great War with every passing day, he has quietly accomplished an immense miracle of peace. It is tweeting through the digital ether, saying, I have nothing against you. You are valuable. Let us exchange our feelings, our food pictures, our stories, our goods, and let's do it in peace. Let's communicate from individual to individual. It is tweeting in the dawn of a new day. It is the tweeting of an approaching twilight of the gods, in which the rulers of yesterday remain behind in the night, while the voices of the people greet the new morning. I think Elon Musk has really done a miracle by letting us communicate directly. And international communication is something we would like to discuss, and discuss the importance of this communication with Alexander. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Irakli, for organizing this meeting. So, may I start?
Do you have a presentation prepared?
No.
No.
I'll briefly describe my idea, but first, I don't know how well are you informed about my party. I know that you had a lot of meeting with Herman
Yeah,
Sabo, so
it,
probably I don't need talk a lot about Girchi, but I can if it is necessary.
yes, especially, well, some people know, some people do not. Um, we should know a little bit more about Girchi, about you personally. I think I heard you are a professor of economy, and yeah,
Okay.
and explain to us also why there are two Girchi parties when this separation has happened. And yeah, and I think you are informed about what happened in the International Alliance of Libertarian Parties. So
Yeah.
you may say also something about that.
Okay. Yes. I won't tell you a lot about myself. I'm an economist. I'm professor at University of Georgia, but I'm not very active at teaching now because I work full time on my party. So I was a member of parliament from 2020 to 2024. And so now I'm also active in political life. So, and I represent political party Girchi. Uh, it's not big party. We have about 4% support average in country. Last year we had elections, local elections. So we got 7 places in local councils. We don't have MPs because in 2024, despite the fact that we got more support than in 2020, because of high threshold, we lost seats, but we had 4 MPs in previous parliament. So we are growing not as fast as we want, but anyway. So we also in general, I think that we are maybe the most successful libertarian party comparing with our problems and resources we have, because society in Georgia, in mainly leftist, we even don't have any right-wing party. Someone who wants to, for example, decrease taxes and has big support, bigger than we have. So someone with whom we theoretically can make some coalition. So
So you're practically you're substituting all the right wing parties.
yes, but it's not as good as you can think because citizens mainly are leftists. Their ideology, because of very bad uh, past Soviet Union, specific education, and so on. And that's why we spent a lot of time on education activity and some side activities in order to be more successful. We have our television, and we cover the whole country. We have our church. Maybe we use church to help our guys to avoid military conscription.
Okay,
We
can you say that so publicly?
Yes, of course. For 40,000 priests, we have 40,000 priests, so everyone knows about it in our country. It's very public, and we have some kind of NGO which we use in to translate books. For example, like Walter Block defending undefendable and so on. Now I'm working on the editing hike road to septum. So so this NGO we are using for this. So we have our podcasts, public lectures, website with donations, and we are very proud that we are fully financed by our supporters. It's not big money. We got we get about maybe $10,000-15,000 per month. Oh, Herman is with us. But 300-400 supporters donate us money every month, and that's why we are totally independent financially from some dirty money, I say. And so we need two, three times more to operate in a way we want. But anyway, it is I think, great result in country where no one knows that supporters should finance party. We have opposite tradition when party bribes supporters, but not when supporters can give money to politicians. So we have our internal court, our constitution, which regulates behavior of our politicians, what they can do, what they can't do. So we have our court, which can resolve conflicts we have. We already have experience how to use it. So it's briefly, maybe I missed something important, but so we are working hard, and maybe 90% our work is some educational activity, because we should explain people some basic principles of economic theory or political philosophy, and it's very difficult even to explain that taxation is theft or robbery, because people live with taxes. It's part of their life, and they never thought about it. So this is briefly. What about, and you asked about second Girchi. It's maybe tradition for libertarian parties. I heard that the same situation was in Russia. There was Libertarian Party, and their former leader left party and established the Libertarian Party with the same name. So we had this situation in late 2020. Our party member, party leader, left our party and established the party with the same name. So in 2021, it was very difficult to distinguish our parties and to understand who is who and what they are doing. Maybe only our supporters, even our supporters, didn't understand what was happening. But now it is not problem at all, because I know this story that this alliance of libertarian parties, there had some they became part of this alliance. But the problem with it, there's no party like another Girchi in Georgia. So the story of this party ended 2 years ago, because they became part of bigger coalition with some standard mainstream political parties. Maybe formally there is some organization with this name, but I don't know even one party member of previous second Girchi. So I was quite surprised that when Herman told me that they are active and they are trying to become a member of our alliance, because it is impossible to become alliance of Libertarian Party if you are not a party at all. So,
well, there is in the board of the International Alliance of Libertarian Parties, there is Tinajin Bolokadze,
yeah.
and she names the party Girchi More Freedom.
Yes, but it is quite easy to check, because their current party's name is Coalition for Changes, and then longer name is Coalition for Changes. How to say, Ahali Girchi Droa, something like that, a big name. So when even Tinatin Bolokadze is talking, she is talking from this coalition. And when here in Georgia, and when they are, for example, in television, they are presented like party from this party. So it is easy to check that they are no member of Girchi More Freedom. No more. I don't know
You
anyone.
Yeah,
So
yeah, okay. We do not need to discuss it for a long time,
yeah,
or maybe I will take what you are saying and send this as a notice to the Alliance of Libertarian Parties, because if that is a coalition, then they are part of the coalition, but they are not the coalition. So that was also what Irakli told me, that Girchi More Freedom has vanished when they joined this coalition.
yeah.
But
Yes, and you know, formally here in Georgia, it is banned to have coalition. It is name of party coalition, but it's not coalition in standard meaning of this word. So it
yeah,
is the so you can name you can name your party as you want. Even
yeah, but
use word coalition, but it's I think it's not important because the more important is that we even don't compete with each other in a field of libertarian ideas. They have
mhm,
totally different position. So they wanted to subsidize schools and free how to say in English free lunch for children and
mhm,
stuff like that. So we don't have competitors at this moment. So maybe someone can tell you that they are libertarians, but you know it is very easy to check if you want by checking political position of their party. So
yeah,
we are in this situation. We are purists, you know. We are libertarian party. We try to defend our libertarian principles and spread our ideas. So yeah, but it's not the main problem we have. We even
yeah.
don't care about Girchimal freedom here in Georgia, and maybe they are more active in Libertarian Alliance than here. So okay, maybe they don't have, that they don't know what to do here, so they are active in foreign relationship. Anyway, and the aim of our meeting and why I asked Irakli to organize it is to describe my idea to make some kind of organizational, maybe not organization, to start some coordination, cooperation of libertarian parties. Maybe not in the world, it is maybe difficult, maybe only in Europe. But let me explain the problem I want to solve. So typically, libertarian party, as I understand, from my observation of different parties in different countries, have three problems. First problem is a problem I call of purists, of real libertarians who want to discuss the problem of abortion direct before elections. And not because it is very important problem, not because that it is not important. It is very important problem general, but usually our specific libertarian topics, if they are main for party, it damage politically, and it is very difficult to understand specific libertarian topics to people when they even don't understand some basic things. So it is one problem. The second problem is opposite to this first. Is the people who there are a lot of our supporters who ask me to lie people because populist politicians are more efficient, and we usually know that people are fooled often, and that when you tell lie, theoretically it is not theoretically in practice also it is much more beneficial. So there is always the problem to lost your identity, your principles. So this is another problem. If you decide to get more votes, uh, telling lie, which is easier to understand, but anyway, it is in long term very damaging. And the third problem, the main problem, is the ignorance of the people. So we really spend maybe 90% of our time on educational activity because we really should explain people some basic things. And as Hayek told that if socialists knew economics, they wouldn't be socialists. It's the same idea. If people understood what is happening, how political life works, how politicians control them and took their money and so on, maybe we even would not won't need a libertarian political party because everything will change without us. So this problem our main enemy here in Georgia and something changed. Here in Georgia, and not only Georgia, I think that is ignorance of people, and that's why that is why democracy doesn't work well. So to solve this problem, I think that it will be very beneficial to us to cooperate our resources. What I mean, imagine some educational projects. So when we are creating something, I think that every libertarian party needs the same topics to explain people. And we are working hard to translate a lot of videos to Georgian, because usually the problem Libertarian Party have are the same at some level. Maybe there can be, and I am sure there are some specific topics, but some basic ideas are same. So in order to defeat this ignorance of the people and expand, spread our ideas, we can help each other create educational products. So maybe share experience, share ideas, create some team who will create, for example, some video content, share financing process, and so on. This first one. The second one is to share our experience in order to, how to say, we need to focus on some general narrative, which is in political life in Europe, for example, because socialists and leftists are working coordinated. So when I have some discussion with my opponents here in Georgia, for example, with some leftists, they always have some kind of support from Brussels or some European parties. So I'm here in Georgia alone, fighting with them, but they are always working together. So we should have the same kind support that when, for example, my supporter here in Georgia sees that there are some different parties in the world like Girchi, and we need the same things. So we have same ideas. We are working together, and we are not alone here, because someone here in Georgia think that we Girchi are some specific guys with strange ideas, and there's no other party like Girchi, and that's why they don't believe us. So
it is helpful for them that there are crazy people worldwide.
Yes. If they see that there are many crazy people like Girchi, it will be more trustable for them. Yes, of course. So some kind of cooperation between libertarian parties will help to each other to show our supporters that we are not alone, and at least maybe we are not as influential as, for example, socialists are. Maybe we don't have as much money than compared with them, but anyway, some kind of support will be very useful. For example, you can organize some kind of conference once here in Germany, or maybe not in Germany, but somewhere in the center of Europe. So we can also help you financially or by some different support. For example, I can come to this conference with guys with cameras and create some video content because we have great team also in social media. We are the first party in Georgia in social media. So and create some conference for different libertarian parties, invite lecturers and professors from different universities, even help because he has also some problems, as you know, with Mises Institute, Hulsman and many others. And not and the aim of this conference should be to help each other to solve different problems. Like, you know, Communist Party tried to make revolution around the world. We have the same problem. We have big enemy, leftist parties. We are united and working together. So we should be oriented to solve our political problems. So you can organize conference where we discuss our problems and together trying to solve them. Not
Yeah.
only to make good presentation, you know, we are good guys, we love liberty and freedom, and we make this and make that. No, focused on particular problems and try to solve them, or at least help to solve them. And we
And
also, yeah.
not only on a board level. That is my idea, because there is a group in Germany which had a good idea. I think it was a holiday camp for young people, a libertarian holiday camp. And maybe Irakli told you that we had in the past already the plan to make a trip for party members to stay 7 or 10 days in Georgia and spend our summer holidays there, to meet you, to have some sightseeing together, to eat together, just
Great.
just a holiday program. But it could be even more intense, with some presentations, some workshops, lots of discussions. And what we had in the past in our party that was also pretty nice, we met on a Sunday for a walk, because when you walk, you leave your point of view or your position, and you're thinking about something new. And it was wonderful to have these discussions walking through a forest, for example. So I could imagine something like this, or invite each others to meetings of the party, as a speaker, for example, and of course discuss, build up a network, so that not only the members of the board but also some party members are in interaction with members of the Girchi Party, for example.
Yeah, I think that it is a great idea to visit Georgia, and we will happy to host you and try to do my best. But yes, in general, we should find some ways to help each other. For example, I remember how Irakli told me problems you had during once elections. I don't remember what kind of elections it was, about your financial situation and lack of resources. I think that we can even help each other by share some kind of resources. For example, if you have next year elections, I don't know when you have elections, but and we don't have elections, we can, and other parties who are free at that moment can help using different resources. For example, I have maybe you can finance your advertisement ads in Facebook, but I can share with you my human resources, my team who will make it more efficient. So we really have something to share with each other. So if we decide to do it, we can make some steps for it. Maybe it's not for we can't decide this in this meeting, but maybe we should continue communication. But if we decide to work together, we should create some kind of body. Maybe it's an informal organization or any I don't care about this form of this
I don't
cooperation. But in order to try to, first of all, describe existing problem and try to find what we can help each other. And this cooperation between other parties, I think that it is thing which we really need.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
One story, maybe Irakli told you. We loved the idea since we heard it that you were advertising for your party on Pornhub.
It's not me. It's not
Because
we. It's the second
because
Girchi.
it was the other Girchi. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, but of course I like the idea. So it's a low cost advertisement, and you're reaching a wide group of users. But we tried that in Germany, and do you know what Pornhub told us when we asked them?
Yeah, I don't know.
They told us they don't want to get in such a dirty business like politics.
Understandable. And it is not efficient. It was mistake because you are trying to show your ad during the situation where people are thinking a bit about different things. It's not good time for political ads, No. it doesn't work.
But
At that moment on Pornhub, people are busy usually.
Busy with other things, yeah.
Yes.
We hoped it would be a scandal.
Yeah,
Other
that was
parties would.
Scandal is not problem. Scandal it's usually it's sometimes good, especially when you don't have big support. It increases your popularity in society. So
do you have any experience with scandals?
Our party is one big scandal. Scandal is our another name. So
I'm really in difficulties because looking at our politicians, at our government, they do not have shame at all. So what scandal can I provoke?
No, I think that it is very specific thing. It depends on particular person, particular situation, environment. So it is very difficult to tell you anything about it. But we had many such kind of stories which were sometimes not very good, maybe, but in general, it is anyway beneficial because more people get information about you. But when you become bigger, maybe it's not good. For party who has no support or small support, it is maybe important also to have some kind of scandals.
And so any publicity is good publicity, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And so it is briefly about my idea. So I see maybe several directions of cooperation, educational projects, annual conference, some kind of support each other during the elections, maybe some additional meetings in order to at least explain how we are dealing with this kind of problems, which mainly are same for every libertarian party. So if you like this idea, we can maybe think about future steps.
That well, okay. Hermann also did not join the ILP meeting, and I must say when I met with this international organization, which is now located in Florida, Miami, and they built up a new organization and try to make it better than it was 10 years ago. The intention was good, but it was too bureaucratic by my point of view. There were positions and groups for discussions and so on, and you had to apply. And then the most craziest thing was they sent us a paper with the invitations and the rules, and in the basic line was, please read also our bylaws. I did not do that. And then I came into this annual meeting as a leader of the German party, as a founding member of the International Alliance, and then I was not allowed to vote because I should have applied 6 days before the meeting who will join the meeting and who should be allowed to vote. So if somebody comes in Germany to a party meeting and he is a member of the party, at least for 1 year, he is also allowed to vote. And I was sitting and had no legitimation to vote for new members. And in the end, all the new members, for all the further decisions, first we decided who would become a new member. All the new members were allowed to vote, and I was not. And I said that is not what I want. I do not need such a strict organization. What I need is some goodwill to meet from time to time, to say, hey, let's meet in May on 8th of May, and just give us a little report what is happening. And eventually, if you have some ideas, if you have had a good marketing project or something like that, tell us about it. And I think that is good enough for the start. And then maybe we can decide as a group, okay, next year we go and meet in the south of France at the sea side in the first week of August, and the French Libertarian Party will organize a camp.
Yeah,
So-
I agree. I don't believe that we are able to create some big organization, and that's why I thought about conference. Conference, it is easier to organize, and there is no obligation to do anything except this. So yeah, I agree. So I even don't have time to create some bureaucratic organization rules, and I have plenty of things to do here in Georgia.
Yeah. But do you really think? Well, by my point of view, I'm tired of conferences.
Yeah, I love conferences.
You hear always the same things from different speakers, and you have heard it all 5 times before.
Yeah, I know it because I attended a lot of libertarian conferences, and it is the typical problem, but it is because bad organization. When conference doesn't have some clear aim, why it is organized, then usually people talk what they want. When you have some particular political aim, you have some kind of group of people who is responsible to make good conference. Usually it is very interesting. So maybe because of my university past, I love conferences, but I think that I agree that I saw many bad conferences, many boring conferences when they are talking the same libertarian ideas. In a way, they think that they saw it first. They are first who saw it and try to explain us.
And I've made also the experience that when you organize a libertarian conference, it is very hard to get a socialist for a podium discussion.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, for example, I can organize it here in Georgia, but it will be very expensive for you to attend. But I can do it easily here. But for example, if you organize somewhere in the center of Europe, for example, in Germany, it will be easier for many people. It will be easier to attract people.
It's great. It's great that we have Steffi with us. She's living in Cyprus. Maybe she could organize something there. So that would be about in the middle.
No, it's not in the middle. Yeah. So then, comparing with Cyprus, Georgia is better. It is easier here.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean that maybe we can start from some easier steps. But anyway. I need some kind of support from foreign countries, from other political parties.
Yeah, I
Really,
mean,
I need here in Georgia to reach my political goals. But at the same time, I know that I can share my experience to other people, and it is also beneficial. So we can, I really, socialists work very organized. They have good coordination. They have NGOs. They have politicians, MPs in different countries. They are helping each other. They are supporting media, everything. So compared with them, we are very small and at the same time divided to different groups. So I think it is not good. So
yeah, it's
yeah.
um, it would be a fair share for the socialists to give us some of their wealth, and I know they love it.
We won't use methods which socialists usually use.
Well, if they agree with it, we can make a contract.
Yeah, okay, if you agree. Okay. So,
We
yeah.
we translated most of your videos during your election period. So all your short videos from YouTube and some longer videos. So we tried to help you here. But I don't know what could we do more?
For example, first of all, thank you that you are translating. It was surprising when I heard my voice in Germany. I don't speak German, so it was really interesting experience. um, uh, I mean that, for example, now we are thinking to do some kind of uh, video content in order to explain how um, um, how libertarian ideas evolved from some Christian morals, ethical rules, and maybe it can be interesting for you also. So, for example, if you have someone who is interested in such kind of topic, we can have some group, for example, for coordination, and I'll wrote my idea that I'm going to do it. And if you also want to participate in this activity, we can plan what to do together. Maybe you have some better ideas, you have some problems specific for your country, and we can plan to focus on this problem also during this content. So we can also have some kind of maybe some umbrella brand for all of this video. So we can create video not by Girchi, but for example, this Association of Libertarian Parties of Europe. I don't know how it's called, but anyway, in order to make some product which we can share with other parties, so we help them. So because we all spend resources for the educational activity, maybe we can spend it together and coordinated. We don't have a lot of resources. I maybe Millet found money, but it is totally different situation. American Libertarian Party, I think that it is captured by Republican Party totally, and it should be most successful Libertarian Party in the world, but I even don't understand what they are doing. Um, so, but many parties around the world are very weak. They have not enough resources. So if we can unite our resources, at least for educational projects, it will help each other. So some meetings, okay, if it is difficult to organize conference, we can organize some kind of meeting at first stage and see what will be outcome of these discussions. I think that it is very important to invite lecturers. This situation in Mises Institute, it's terrible from my point of view, because they are not a lot. I don't like Hermann Hoppe, but he's the most famous libertarian author now. So it was, I think, terrible mistake of Mises Institute to have conflict with him.
You mean Hans Hermann Hoppe?
Yeah, Hans Hermann Hoppe. And so we can, and he lives in Istanbul, so we can invite him, discuss. I'm great fan of Guido Hülsmann. I met him several times in different conferences and in the past when I was active in my scientific life. So
Is Roland Bader known internationally?
sorry?
Is Roland Bader known to you?
Bader.
Bader. Bader.
No?
No.
No.
I think he's maybe the most famous, or besides Hayek and Hoppe and Mises, but he's a very famous German author. He wrote a couple of books explaining very clearly. They are so easy to read and understand. They are really wonderful. And he died a couple of years ago, and around the I don't know, is his death day or birthday, there's a meeting, and there's really a meeting of the most famous libertarian people in Germany. So whoever is important there, you can meet him there. And I don't know, maybe it's also worth to translate his books.
Maybe. I started a new project of translation. I translated 4 books in previous 3 years. So now I'm going to translate 4 books per year. So
how do you do that? Do you scan the books and make them translate from AI, or do you type in everything?
So I have translators, so I usually only editing translations, but they use AI, of course, because it helps to reduce time, but sometimes it's very difficult to rely on AI. It depends on style book is written. So when it is sometimes it's complicated, because sometimes, for example, Hayek's style is very bad. He wrote terrible text, so it is very difficult to translate with AI. So, but yes, now I have at least 2 translators. So, and several guys who can help me with editing. So, and I found the money for this also. It is I love translating, editing books. It is my favorite activity. I have a dream to have my library, and so when I got a lot of money, I will establish my library with many books.
Alexander, sorry, Eka, what did you say?
Libertarian library, I guess.
Yeah, wasn't that Alexander's library? Wasn't that the famous library, one of the 7 world wonders?
Not Alexander's. It was not me, but yeah. Yeah. So this all.
There's okay. Irakli first. Sorry.
Also Roland Bader, you probably can't translate it directly. I should help, and I have no time. It's German.
Yeah. I mean, if we had the file, the text, and there is still Roland Bader's family. If they would give us the text as a PDF file, for example, then it would be much easier to translate it. I also have, for example, a wonderful Dutch book about the social contract, but my Dutch is very, very bad, and I would have to retype the book in order to translate it into Germany. And that's the problem. I think if I could just copy the pages and artificial intelligence would translate it, that would be much easier.
Alexander wrote some very interesting, very good articles, for example, about wie heißt das, geistiges Eigentum, intellectual property, yeah, you know, 2 or 3, yes? I could translate it. Then maybe you could hold a lesson in Zoom about economy, because your lessons are really very good.
My podcasts, my YouTube podcasts. You mean?
I would translate this. Yes, the problem with these videos, our translation tool can only translate 30 minutes. And if the video is longer, I need to download it and cut in sections and translate each section. So it takes time, and we have not, we have only, I think, 1 hour or 2 hours per month to translate. We can translate. So it's problem with large
And
videos.
you can, of course, can translate things we are doing, but let's think how to create some new, which can be created also for you, for your specific problems. Maybe if maybe we can create some group of people, maybe 4 or 5 people who will work on some education projects, and it will be created for you also, and there won't be problem with translation because there will be some guy from you who speak Germany, so he can do projects specifically in German. So I think that you, of course, can use everything we have. You can use our website. We can help you also to copy our website if you want. We can share everything we have because it is in our interest. You become stronger and more successful. But I think that maybe we can think to create some new.
Yeah.
Something together.
Well, that's intellectual property. I always used to say, please copy. We as a party of reason, we do not want to govern. But if other parties in our government would copy our ideas, we would be very satisfied.
Agree. So we also don't care about copyright. So
yeah, and I have started this morning with a new project because when I joined the party more than 10 years ago, 13 years ago, I found only the program of basics, the basic ideas of the party. And I always thought there's a big gap. How do we get there? And now another member of the party has convinced me to write a couple of small, short books for each theme: health system, for example, retirement in Germany, but it's very German specific, describing how can we reach the libertarian targets. So starting from here, what needs to be changed? What is the situation here? How do other countries, and that could also be a good possibility to exchange each other. How does a health system work in your country? What can or how does a justice system work? And what can we learn from you? Does it work? What would you improve, for example?
yes, and even your specific product about your social security system or stuff like that will be beneficial for us because people here in Georgia think that because Germany is richer than Georgia, everything you have it is better. So if you have some kind of regulation, for example, I don't know, in education, it is good because it is German regulation. So probably German people should have better regulation than we have. And if you create some product where you explain problems and ways how to solve these problems, how to reform different part of the economy, it will be interesting for people here in order to explain that no, Germany has a lot of problems, and people there also thinking how to reform them, and at least we shouldn't copy these bad decisions. So it can be very interesting, I think. Maybe it is not easy, and maybe it is difficult to create some big organization and start some huge activity. But I think that if we start, maybe we'll create something interesting which will help every party, at least in Europe. We are too old.
Is it? I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you discuss in Georgia the what you say it responsi responsibilities of politicians, that they can go to jail, for example, when making wrong promises, like we had in Germany, where our chancellor said one thing, and after the elections made a thing that is 180 degrees from that, or if they waste taxes, for example, and it is proven that they wasted taxes, that they could go to jail or have to pay the damage. Do you discuss something like that?
I can explain it in Georgian. პოლიტიკოსების პასუხისმგებლობა. ანუ თუ პოლიტიკოსმა რაღაც დაარღვია, ნუ აი ქარხანა ააფეთქა და არაფრისთვის წავიდა ციხეში.
მაგრამ ეს საუბარი იყო ამაზე, ხო? რომ წინა საათში რომ დაპირება თუ რადიკალურად შეცვალაო.
ნუ ეს არის აქ მე მემარჯვენებ იმაში ერთ-ერთი მოთხოვნა, რომ პოლიტიკოსებმა უნდა პასუხი აგონ, აი კორონაზე რაც მოხდა.
No, we don't have such kind of things, and I think it is not correct. I think it is a way how to help voter avoid his own responsibility, to think before elections, to separate good politicians from bad politicians.
Well, there is,
if I understand correctly,
there is one advocate who says, for example, if politicians would handle the things as any manager of a company, of a big company, would act. So good manufacturing practice. So to be careful not to waste money, to be careful when you bring a medication on the market, that it is really high quality, or that the quality is tested, like at COVID. So these are some basic things. There are politicians which have hundreds of consultants, and in case something goes wrong, they say, no, I'm not responsible, my consultants are. And the consultants are, oh, I didn't decide it, I just made a suggestion. So nobody is responsible.
Maybe, but I'm usually in favor of limited government, not good government. I don't care about good government. I need limited government.
It was an idea in right-wing politicians.
Yeah, okay, understand. I even ready to pay bureaucrats not to work.
If shit remains shit, even if you put powder sugar on it.
Yep.
But from our side, if the politician must fear that he could go to jail, he would not do much bad things. So it could prevent them to maybe to harm us. Yes, maybe I don't know. But of course, it's not a libertarian idea.
Yeah. I think that Germany has much more serious problem than this. So even promises politicians have are bad. So sometimes it is good when politicians don't do things they promised before elections. So and if they are very efficient in their regulations, it is also bad. So maybe they should be corrupted and inefficient. So I don't I heard first time. I don't have any specific position about it, but anyway. I was reading Hayek today because of his translation, and he had some discussion. There was discussion in his book about ideas in 1930s, 1920s, that a country is a big factory and the politicians should run country as a big factory, and it was socialist the ideas. So as we know, it ended not very good. So I don't think that we need good managers. We need small government, and so
it comes from the COVID era. So people died, and they said that opposition politicians, okay, somebody should go to jail because people died. You enforced people to do something, and other people's, and so.
But maybe for this you don't need some specific legislation. For this is court, so you can, if it is provable, you can go to court.
No, because we have no laws to enforce politicians
if you can prove that someone's decision caused death of people, theoretically it can be case for court.
But for
they tried already.
That they did this. For a politician, you would have to prove that they did this intentionally. I think they can always say, "Oh, I had the wrong information basis, so I made my decision on a different basis of information than what is available now." Of course, they would have the duty to research information, but they don't. We all know that. And so you can't really sue them or trial them for murder or any homicide because their decision led to death. That's not possible right now. And does anybody think that this would be a good idea?
It was very hard to follow you, Steffi. Could you put on your camera as well so we can see your lips and understand a little better?
I tried to, but I couldn't.
Okay.
Moment.
Yeah.
Co-host.
Host has
Mach ich gleich. Now you can.
Now, okay. So I said what the situation is right now, that you cannot put politicians on trial because of a decision that has led to damage like the death of people, because they would claim they made for example, the vaccination, the mandatory vaccination based on a different databases they had. And back then, most politicians at least seem to have honestly believed, that this vax protects and only protects and has no side effects, as the health minister said. So if you have a law that would bring politicians to jail, nobody would do the job anymore.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, it would be a great outcome.
It would be wonderful. It would be wonderful. It would be wonderful. But those people, they don't want to lose their jobs, And that's why it will never happen. Not to that extent.
Okay, I agree.
Maybe to a limited extent, be liable to not do things on purpose, intentionally at least, or with gross negligence, but just out of stupidity. It would be awesome to have such law, but
yeah, it is. Well, but that's exactly the problem we have. Actually, the politicians do not respect the people they represent.
No, But have they ever?
Maybe in the early beginning of democracy.
Of republic,
Yeah,
not
but I
democracy.
think that's what I mean. We're talking about things to change, but it would be best to actually reduce this amount of
Power.
yeah, it's a huge blob, basically a blob of politicians. Yeah, and to reduce that and to a minimum, so we don't even have to deal with these questions like anybody go to jail for misinformation, because that misinformation has no side effects, led to death. So it's better if there wasn't such a health minister.
Yeah. Yeah. What was what COVID measures did you have in Georgia, Alexander?
Oh, it's quite complicated topic. So we have had quite strict regulations, but mainly in big cities, because no one cared about regulations in villages. At the same time, mortality was very high. We was in maybe 10% of countries, worst countries. And I think that main problem was hyperactive government policy, and thousands of people were forced to go to hospitals, and I think that this was the main reason why people die. And so there were some very strange regulations, and once they forbidden, how to say, to sit on the front row of seats in a car near driver, because from their point of view, my wife sitting near me was a danger for me, and that's why she should sit on the rear row seats. So I took how to say mannequin
Mannequin.
Mannequin. Okay.
Mannequin.
I took it,
Puppe.
placed it on my seat near me, and drove around the center of the city. So police tried to find me, but there was nothing against, nothing wrong, because it was not forbidden to use mannequin. So it was my first protest against COVID regulations. But we usually copied the regulations from Europe. And our government didn't have, let's say, resource or desire to make some unique decision, because they try to avoid responsibility. So they tried to copy everything WHO told us, so nothing good.
Maybe this could be the one thing we can help, but Dirk should do this. If you have some bad regulation that they want to take, Dirk can, also I could also, but
You mean
Georgians would not.
if we want to copy something from Germany?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Because you can say okay, so there are German parties. There is a German party. So we German Libertarian Party are against this regulation because this and this. As I could make this video, but if they see Irakli, they would say it's a lie.
Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe we will find some additional ways how to cooperate, but I think that maybe we can start. Maybe we can also talk with other parties, different countries.
Oh, I have an international question. Since we have somebody here from Cyprus and somebody from Georgia, I would like to know, what does a liter of gasol cost in your country? In dollar, maybe.
One and a half? No,
Wow.
maybe $1. $1. It is more correct. I don't know.
Where does it come from? Is it shipped, or is it coming through a Russian pipeline?
Yeah, we got from Russia, from Azerbaijan, and small part from Romania.
Okay.
Yeah, it went down here a bit. So we had from when I relocated last year to the beginning, from the beginning of the war till now, we had an increase of 30 cents per liter, but it decreased again by 8 cents. So we're now at 152 for the super.
152.
A diesel is more expensive. Yeah, diesel is more, of course. But it was at 160, the super, but before the war, it was at 132. So it's pretty much, it sounds cheap, but the increase is big.
It's immense, yeah.
And the thing is that in Cyprus, you're doomed without a car. You're doomed. It's a small island, but you need to do everything by car.
Yeah. Yeah, have you heard about the things the German government plans to make life easier for the people?
Oh yeah, I heard that they want to reduce
the first thing is they want to decrease the taxes on gasoline of 17 cents, and on the other hand side they want to increase the tobacco taxes. So. And the increase of the tobacco taxes will remain, but the decrease of 17 cents on taxes for gasoline will remain only 2 months. So actually, I'm going to by car to the gas station to buy some cigarettes, and I will do this only for two more months, and then I will stop smoking, because in the meantime it compensates each other. The decrease and the increase.
Crazy.
Yeah, really funny. But funnier still, the things and campaigns Girchi Party has done, and I think we should have another meeting and talk about marketing and campaigns.
I would use your software, but I'm not sure that we can do it. We can integrate it in our system, because we have another software for parties and so on. We need another meeting for concrete steps.
Yeah, and internal steps, but now it is nice to know each other, and it will be nice to have future meetings. Oh, I see Hermann has left us, but I hope we are a little discussing with the other European libertarian parties, and unfortunately they did not come to this meeting, but I hope in the future we can organize something. But I remember a phrase when we had the first meeting founding the International Alliance of Libertarian Parties some 10 years ago. One of the first phrases was, unifying libertarians is like herding cats.
Yeah, we don't even have a libertarian party in Cyprus, so.
Yeah, go ahead and found one.
Bro, I'm a member of the German Partei der Vernunft. I can be, and I still am, Dirk. Don't forget this.
Cyprus chapter.
Nice. Yeah, but I will try to. I don't know. I think in the expat community has more libertarians.
Yeah, probably, very probably, yeah.
Okay. Hope we'll continue our communication.
Yeah, was a pleasure meeting you.
It was a pleasure for me too.
And and in Georgia it's 2 hours later than here. We have 9:30.
Yeah.
Okay, then Betty bye.